Today we are going from Shenzhen Airport to the Hong Kong Airport by ferry. This might be a less traveled route compared with Shekou to Hong Kong Airport ferry. In this video you will get to see how it compares with the Shekou route, the reviews, and how to get a tax refund for the ferry ticket. From the airport, it's 40-minute ride to Shekou Port or a 10-minute taxi ride to the airport port, while the ferry price to the Hong Kong airport is the same, 380 RMB. So good choice. Let's go into check-in and immigration. This ferry building is relatively small, so the immigration and check-in process is very quick. Now we are ready to board onto the ferry. Stepping outside the ferry building, we see this gorgeous sunset view right in front of us. I couldn't help but to stop and take a look at it. A brisk walk, and we are going to see the ferry pretty soon. So we see the boat already. This type of ferry is very common for traveling between Shenzhen, Hong Kong, and Macau in between. If you continue to travel to other places from Hong Kong by ferry, then you can basically see what the inside is like and the travel conditions. So here we are. Let's get onto the boat. The ferry has ample seats, and the space between the seats is quite big, so you don't worry about your legs not being able to stretch enough. Again, we get to see the beautiful sunset here. Here we got hot water dispenser. The trip is getting started, and we get to see the relatively much smaller ferry building right here. It's definitely much smaller compared to the Shekou ferry building. Immediately after the boat started, we get to see the very busy Guangzhou-Shenzhen Coastal Expressway here. It is a major artery connecting Shenzhen and Guangzhou up in the north. The trip is very steady. I don't feel too much of shaking on the boat. On the right side of the boat, then we see this beautiful sunset. So for the next couple of minutes, please enjoy the beautiful sunset on this trip. After the sun sets, we return to the left side of the ferry. What we see is the circle area of Shenzhen, and also we see the Shenzhen ports from the left. It's a bit hard to see as we are getting farther away from Shenzhen. These are some of the last views of Shenzhen before we cross into the Hong Kong area. Entering the Hong Kong waters, what we see immediately is Hong Kong's Black Point Power Station. Traveling along, we see the Castle Peak Power Station right in front of us. With the moon coming out, it's a beautiful view, isn't it? Getting closer into the Hong Kong airport, we see the Hong Kong boundary crossing facilities. It's an artificial island right across from the Hong Kong airport. As the ferry is turning around to dock, we see the Hong Kong Sky City Marriott Hotel right here. So the ferry docked safely, it's time to get off the ferry. Going to the airport is a very brisk walk from the pier. There's no signs until we get into the airport, so we keep walking. Arriving into the terminal, there's no need to go through immigration, so technically we haven't entered Hong Kong. We will just check in and get our boarding pass. After going through security, we can go to the gates directly. Here are the signs pointing us towards the check-in counters. This is a transfer counter specifically set up for people coming in from the ferries. So they are separate from the main check-in counters on the upper level, on the departure level. There are fewer people here, much less crowded. Also, there's usually one agent for each airline. So there might be a little queue, but still very convenient.
United.
Next, let's talk about how to get the tax refund. During the flight check-in, if you tell the agent that you are traveling in by ferry, the agent will check in the system for verification of your identity. Then the agent will give you a receipt, a paper receipt. You can use this paper receipt to get your tax refund after going through security. So here we are after security, the tax refund office here, we get 120 Hong Kong dollar back. Thank you. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.